What's up guys, it's your girl Foxy here and thanks for tuning in. Today I'm joined by Auckland's very own rapper. He's always dropping killer hits, killer music videos, and he has his own t-shirt line, Max-Shotta. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
You've just flattered me, man. Like now, I feel like some kind of a star. I'm good, thanks. So.
Yeah, you are a star.
Thank you.
You better own it.
Appreciate it.
You better own it. So I have you on the show today because I really am inspired by your music. I just started listening to it like a few months ago, and I think you and your group are dropping major hits.
Wow.
The most recent music video was sick.
That's a dope video, right?
Yeah, it was dope.
Shout out to Triple N.
Shout out to Triple N. And I just want to I want the viewers to get a bit of a background on how your brand came to be and what your journey was like to get to where you're at now and where you want to be in the future. Okay.
Right, so basically, if you don't know, I represent a crew called the Shottaz.
Yeah.
And basically, it's hard to categorize, right? Like our genre is hard to pick out. So we do reggae, dancehall, hip hop. Afro pop. We like to think we do rock and roll, but that's just pipe dreams. Yeah. We got together in 2006. At the time, we were the young Shottaz.
Okay.
We were young at the time, so it made sense.
Of course.
And there was 4 members at the time.
Okay.
So shout out to Debem, shout out to Swiss, shout out to Shottaz.
Awesome.
And basically we grew together, made music for a number of years, and yeah, here we are today. So now we're just the Shottaz, and the crew's down to two members. 2 members.
So who's the other member?
Shottaz.
And where is he based?
So Shottaz is currently based in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing there. You know, he's quite well engaged with the live scene, so he does a lot of emceeing there.
Okay.
So he's forwarding the brand on the other side of the ditch, you know, keeping it moving.
Very good, very good. Someone has to represent.
Yeah. Keeping it alive, you know, making sure people know what's happening.
And stay engaged.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So when did this all start for you? When did you say, when you were young, when did you say, I want to be a rapper?
Okay,
I want to get into music.
So when did I say I want to be a rapper? I guess growing up like in Zimbabwe, so I'm originally from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And I went to boarding school. So at boarding school, we used to do this thing where people used to cipher, bang on desks and stuff. Yeah. So that's when I started thinking that, oh, you know, maybe I want to be a rapper and doing it seriously. I've got a lot of influences that got me to that point.
To that point, yes.
But that's where I started writing my own lyrics.
Okay.
You know, that's when I started writing my own lyrics and, you know, performing in front of big crowds.
Yeah.
So at school, I was in a little group called Explode.
Oh wow! So you've always been in groups.
I've been in a group. Well, yeah. So at school, I was in a group called Explode.
Okay.
This is the first time I've ever talked about this.
Yeah.
Outside of that setting. So I was in a group called Explode. You know, we had a bit of fun. Shout out to my brother Crucial A. That's where it started.
Are you still in contact?
Like I lost contact because I didn't finish high school in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So when we moved to New Zealand, I lost contact with a lot of the guys I was working with at the time. But yeah, that's where that started. That kind of that direction, that focus towards making music.
Very good. And then, so how did it progress to writing your own songs and to you wanting to distribute your songs and put yourself out there?
So here in New Zealand, I met my friends that became the young Shottaz. So at the time, you know, we loved music. You know, we were fans. You know, we used to kind of sit around, listen to our favorite songs. You know, like kind of, you know, just did what we did at the time. You know, we're young at school. And at some point, you know, like I used to write. At the time, I was already writing for myself. You know, like, and somehow, I don't remember how it happened, but somehow I ended up sharing what I had written with one of my friends, and then he opened up, was like, oh dude, I also write my own lyrics. And,
very cool.
So we started, kind of just writing together, kind of, sharing ideas. But at that time, it was just more, like a hobby, like something we did when we were bored. And a Zimbabwean gentleman approached us because he wanted us to do a sting for radio.
Okay.
So he approached us because he somehow found out that we were into writing music and stuff. So he came with this beat, he had his instrumental. He was like, "Oh, can you write something to this and do a sting?" So we wrote it. It was on the radio. So we had a Zimbabwean show on Planet FM called Zim on Air.
Oh, nice.
It was on every Friday night. Like I think it was 8 to 10 or 6
it
to
here
8.
in New Zealand?
Here in New Zealand. And basically our song was the song that they used to open the show and close the show.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was kind of our first introduction into going into studios.
Yes.
And kind of
Producing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that experience was fleeting, right? So we did that sting, and maybe we would have had another lull of maybe a year before we started getting serious.
Into it. Yeah. So after that little scenario, when is it that you decided to actually put out music?
I met this DJ through friends. Shout out to DJ Grafter. So I met a guy called Grafter. He's quite an influential DJ in the Auckland scene on the dancehall because he does dancehall music. At the time he was focused on dancehall. Now he does like all sorts like electronic. But at the time it was mostly dancehall. So he was producing at the time for an artist called Mukudzei.
Okay.
And he was also DJing. Like so he was DJing and promoting events. So long story short, I got introduced to Grafter, and basically he cut a record for us, for me and one of my friends called Racine. And yeah, that's the first song I ever released. It was called Big Chips.
And was it by yourself or with the Shottaz?
That was me. That was just Max. At the time, I used to be called Amazing.
Yeah, okay. Was it Amazing Max or just Amazing?
Amazing the Dawn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Amazing the Dawn. So yeah, like that song was released as Amazing and Racine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess those guys gave me the confidence, being able to work with a producer and shape the sound. And then, just having that confidence where the final product was well mixed.
Absolutely.
So it didn't sound like something that was, that was
just
average.
Done,
So that's how I made that transition.
And was that mainly dancehall influence? Was it?
At the time, it was actually hip hop.
Hip hop, yeah.
It was straight rap. So we were rapping over dancehall rhythms.
Beats, okay.
Yeah, but it was straight rap. That was before I started getting my Jamaican on.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I did hear some of you were doing a practice with Triple N, I think, and I heard you doing you had a full-on Jamaican accent, going with the beat as well, and I was thinking, this is completely different from some of your other music that's just straight hip-hop. So tell us a little bit on how you got into that type of genre of music.
So I grew up in an area in Zimbabwe that was big on dancehall.
Okay.
And like I was actually having a conversation before that. My next door neighbor had a sound system, so I don't know if you're familiar with sound system culture.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he had a sound system, so growing up, that's all I used to hear from next door, is just like dancehall music, reggae, loud.
On blast, yeah.
Loud.
Very cool.
And because my next door neighbor was like my brother, he was like my big brother, so we used to go hang out with him. We used to just go and just be
chill.
those little rascals, just being annoying little brothers to him. And so I was exposed to dancehall from that early age, and I always loved the genre. So ever since I was a kid, I've loved dancehall. I don't know what actually made me translate it to the music, but I guess linking up with the young Shottaz, because as the young Shottaz, we wanted a point of difference. So dancehall was that kind of a point of difference.
Yeah.
And again, one of the members of the young Shottaz, Shottaz, is like He's an amazing, we call it toasting, he's an amazing toaster, like he does the Jamaican style.
Okay.
And yeah.
So how do you get to, because obviously it's not actual English and it comes with the accent. So how do you get that? And it sounds authentic. You wouldn't even tell, and especially because you got your dreadlocks going, you know, you would think while you're singing, you'd think that you're from Jamaica.
That's very flattering. I mean, we've been called out a few times, I'm going to be honest.
Oh, really?
We've been called out by people. It's like, what's with the fake accent, you know? I guess practice makes perfect. Like grew up listening to the sound, so like I was familiar with the phrasings and the terminology. It's just being able to actually say it, you know, like execute. Yeah. Because, you know, like as you know with linguistics, you know, you can't just go and pick up a British accent. You can try to emulate it, but it's you know, being immersed in that kind of a situation that will help it develop more. Yeah. So for us, it was just. Basically, I was in a dancehall crew, so I guess practice makes perfect because I wrote so many songs over the years.
With the Shottaz.
Yeah.
Cool. And so what did you guys get into as a group? How many songs did you make, and what was your evolution like? You said you started off in uni playing together and you guys were all into music, but how did it get to a point where you were producing music, performing music?
So I guess with the Shottaz, it happened organically, and looking back now, I guess we went through the motions without trying to rush the process, right? So we went from writing, you know, just average songs like in our bedrooms and to actually, and I guess a very important thing to note is how we critiqued each other. We did not pull any punches.
That's awesome. Just honest, straight honest feedback.
Because like you said, we live together. So, you know, once you're in the same space with someone for an extended period of time, you know, those walls come crumbling down at some stage.
You're not scared to offend anyone.
I mean, like sometimes we're looking to offend each other because you know revenge and that, you know, but I'm just kidding, but like
was it low key sometimes?
Low key, you know, sometimes you've got the beef from last week and you're just waiting for that moment waiting for that moment and we'll take it out in the music. But now, to be honest, it was just being brutally honest with each other and just because those guys are my brothers and I've got mad love for them and I just wanted to see them grow, and I'm sure that was the same
for you,
for me. And then the transitioning to doing like to doing mixtapes and performing live, that just came once we got
seriously.
Better. Once our product was good enough and we had enough, you know, kind of enough avenues to kind of plug the music, just organically started happening.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so when was it that you guys started? Because obviously you started off as four, playing together, and so you traveled. You mentioned traveling and performing. What places did you guys perform in?
So as the young Shottaz, we did Hamilton, Palmerston North, Wellington, Dunedin. So we actually touched a few centers, you know, like.
And what was the response like?
Response was great. I guess for us, you know, because it was four of us on stage. And as a performer, like one thing that we feed off is energy.
Absolutely.
Right. But having four performers helps. Like when you've got a crowd that doesn't know you, it's very rare, unless they're really drunk or just happy. It's seldom that you get that energy from the crowd. But we were able to share that energy. So
within you guys, amongst yourself
on stage. So we'd perform to each other. But that helped us get that response because when people
hypes it up.
When people see you guys having fun and just, you know, like creating energy. So we were able to create the energy and people received it very well.
Very well. That's awesome. And so, what is it that you think allows your music to be taken in now? Because I mean, you come from a group, and then now there's two of you, and you're going at it. And sometimes you have some solo gigs featuring other artists. So what's your sound like compared to when you were in the group and now?
Oh, the sound is different.
Yeah?
The sound has evolved so much since Young Shottaz. Young Shottaz was like high energy, it was high octane, it was nuts.
Young.
I mean, yeah, it was young, it was vibrant.
Full of energy, yeah.
It was really, really vibrant. Now, I believe my sound is a bit more measured. So I pay more attention to the music. Like, for me, music is key. Music is king, you know. So it's at that stage now that, like, for me, yes, we still try to get the energy going because you know, who wants to go? I mean, some people do, but like not many people want to go out and you know, see a static person performing. They look for energy.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of emphasis on the music. So I guess the sound is more mature.
Yeah. And how do you still have some of your fans from when you were in the group, or
yes,
have you picked up more fans or a different fan group?
Definitely picked up more fans. Right. So back in the Shottaz days, I guess we were exposed to a lot of like a younger demo.
Yeah.
So like our typical fans were young, people looking to party, and so yeah, like those fans have grown, and like it's funny when I meet some of those people, they'll say, do you know what song I was listening to the other day? And they'll give me like a Young Shottaz song.
Yeah.
But like the new fans are like a completely different demographic. Basically different crowd altogether.
Different vibe,
yeah. And I guess it's to be expected with the change of sound. Yeah.
And so with hip hop at the moment, and the industry has obviously taken a drastic change from what we're hearing, obviously from the international brands, mostly America, obviously, because that's where most of the influence comes from. How do you navigate your brand or your sound respective to theirs?
That's a very interesting question. For me, like maybe when we're younger, and I guess Young Shottaz, we had the strong dancehall influence. So one thing that we were trying to do was kind of crack the Jamaican market, right? And on the hip hop side, yes, we had those American dreams.
Absolutely.
You know, just like any person that gets into hip hop, like initially, I guess I can't speak for anyone, but most people that I know, the goal is to make it in America.
Absolutely.
Growing up though, I've kind of realized that for me personally, existing in my own space is what works for me.
Absolutely. Being authentic to yourself.
Yeah. So I just try to produce the best sound that I possibly can. And you know, talking about the current climate, you know, like with what's going on in the States, it's really evolved even in the States. You know, like they've gone from lyricism where it's like back in the day when I was growing up, it was poetry. It was like
the message. It was more the message and the content.
It was messaging, and even like the language. You know, like they really took care in you know in
the delivery of it all.
Yes, and how they structured the music, and nowadays it's more formulaic. It's quite melodic, which is
more for the
fun.
sound, how it sounds than the actual.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some artists that are staying true to that, but nowadays it's more melody. You look at Migos, it's catchy, it's stuff that you can easily sing along to, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But like I find myself like. Again, I try to get melody into my music, but it's not because of them.
Okay.
It's more because I love melody.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting. I'd never thought about that one. It's interesting to actually sit and think about, you know, how I want to fit within that landscape.
How do you navigate yourself and still stay current?
Yeah.
Because as an artist, as much as you want to be individual and be true to your brand, you still have to sell. You know, you still have to get paid.
Yeah.
So you have to also appeal to that demographic of people. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's definitely a takeaway, because I mean, it's changing. Like the environment is evolving, and I have noticed that.
Yeah. So I'll pass on, and we'll just fast forward a little bit to some of your current music and what you've been releasing.
Okay.
What would you say? Because right now I think you've moved from the dancehall stuff a little bit, and you're getting more into Afrobeat,
Yes.
or at least touching on it.
Yes.
And why is that? Why would you? What was the key thing that influenced you to say, hey, let me just try this out?
The way the genre has evolved over the years. So I think we're having this conversation like offline, where when we started, we were trying to emulate the dancehall sound.
Yeah.
That was our goal. Like, we wanted to crack Jamaica. So dancehall for us was the cool sound. And
it is. I mean, dancehall is dope.
It is a cool sound. Like, but like along the way, like, like I started noticing certain artists that were staying true to the African sound, but still producing fire music. The likes of David Doe, the likes of Wizkid, the likes of, like, more recently, Diamond Platnumz, like those kind of artists where they've got such an authentic African sound.
Yeah.
And it's still funky, so it's still got like the tempo that you get in dancehall music, but it's authentically African.
African, absolutely.
And for me, like, I just found myself resonating with that a bit more.
A bit more.
And I guess it comes with growing
with
up.
Age, right? Yeah. I was gonna say, do you think it was the age factor?
Yeah.
The more mature you get, the more you look at yourself and think, okay, let me be authentic to myself.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
where I'm from.
I think I'm definitely growing up.
Yeah.
I think I might find some grey hairs.
Some grey
A bit of wisdom.
No, that's awesome. That's really good.
Yeah.
So, from what you've produced so far, what would you say is the music that you are most proud of, or the art? Obviously, you're proud of everything, but something that showcases your growth as an artist.
The most proud. Well, my favorite song right now that I produced is Okedewo.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a song called Okedewo. Download it now. It's on Spotify.
Watch the video.
Watch the video. So, because that song for me, like, and I'm not just trying to plug it because it's really current. It's the most current song. That's probably the song that we're still pushing the hardest. But what I really loved about Okedewo was the process. The process of, like, recording the song, the process of releasing the song. Like, I was working with a talented artist, Triple Lane, artist I respect so much as an artist.
Yeah.
Like, the process of actually building that song was seamless.
Yeah.
I got him into the studio one day, and usually, like, those songs take a few sessions. You go back and forth. One session we had the song.
Wow, nailed down.
Wow. Sending it to get mixed and mastered and all that stuff. It was such a seamless process. And I guess being able to say, look, I can get into this space with a collaborator that I've never collaborated with before. This is our first time working together.
Yeah.
And to be able to get that kind of energy in the studio was just amazing.
And produce a dope track.
Yeah. Something that, like, I'm really proud of that song. I'm not gonna lie. It's a song that I'm super proud of, and I'm glad with the outcome. I'm not proud of it just because it's my song. I'm actually happy with the outcome.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And even, I mean, the video itself, the response was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's being shared almost all over the world.
Yeah, and I, like,
mostly in Africa, though.
Mostly in Africa, and for me, I was really stoked about that, because if you see people in Africa embracing that sound, then you know that you're doing something right.
You're doing something right.
And for me, one of the most humbling things is that I've found myself getting hit up by people that I hadn't heard from in a long time. That for me, that's a very clear signal that
you're doing something right.
Something's working.
Yeah.
And they weren't hitting me up, like, looking for anything, just congratulating. Like, hey man, saw the video, it's awesome.
Dope.
9 times out of 10 people see the music, and you know they'll just watch from a distance. So when you see people actually engaging and getting back and giving feedback, that's a very good sign.
It's a good sign on your part. You're doing something great. Yeah,
going in the right direction.
Oh, that's awesome.
Long may it continue.
It will, definitely. And I just wanted we were discussing this before about how back in the day when you were probably young Shottaz, it was mainly people received your music just listening to your tracks and listening to the music with no visuals. And now you've come back, and the era we're in now, it's all about the visual. People's attention spans are so short, they just want to see it and then they're on to the next thing. So how is that with your creative process? How has that affected it? Has it delayed things, or is it like another challenge for you?
Yeah, a bit of both. So definitely the timelines have stretched out. I'll just give you a bit of context. Okay, when we finished that song, I think it was March, if I'm not mistaken. But we only got it out in September because of the process of actually because we needed to raise funds for the visuals. Because we needed, like, one thing that we agreed on was we needed the visual to accompany the song. We didn't want to release the song and then work on visuals. Wait on the, but just the process of being able to get all the resources together is taxing. It's time consuming, especially if you don't have a team. So yeah, definitely it's delayed the process a bit, and it's also increased the workload because usually, like back in the Shottaz days, like I was saying, we only ever got, back in the young Shottaz days, we only ever released one video, right? Like, and you
still manage with that,
no visuals,
just audios to still perform and still get paid,
get bookings, we'll do shows, and we're able to build like an audience and a fan base just based on the audio experience. Fast forward to 2017, and it's imperative to get a visual to accompany the audience.
To sell.
Yeah. And like I think you did mention that, like, the attention span nowadays is so short, and people have certain preferences. They've got certain preferences, and it's a very visual world. So it's been an adjustment. It's been a real adjustment.
Yeah. So you guys have a t-shirt line with Shottaz on it, and tell me, what was the concept behind this?
So this brand is the brainchild of, this logo or print is the brainchild of one of my good friends. He's a designer based in Auckland called Danny 2 Chains.
Okay, shout out Danny 2 Chains.
Shout out D2C Wagwan fam. So he, like, basically I had the idea, which is I wanted like a trendy print.
Yeah.
Right, and still, we're not gonna lose the dance hall.
No.
So still got the Rasta colors, if you can see, got the yellow, the green highlights, and the red background.
Oh, yeah, it does have the green.
So it's got the green highlight and then the red background.
That's awesome.
And basically, so this is part of the logo because it's got an extension which is like a badge.
Okay.
And so the badge gives you the identity. So with Shottaz, what we do, music. It's got musical brilliance, lyrical precision. Because basically we want to make awesome music every time, and we always have emphasis on the lyrical content. So one thing that we always try to do is make sure that our lyrics are on point.
And they are, which they are.
Yeah, thank you. Like, we put so much time into that. Like, it's something that we actually fight a lot over. So
but it gives you longevity, because then people can still go back 10 years from now and listen to your songs because they have meaning and substance to them,
For sure. So like we've had a few epic fights because of the lyrical content. But that's the brand, We wanted like something that's visually pleasing to the eye. But we wanted to still have those elements that kind of
the Rasta.
Yes, I mean, I'm not a Rasta.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not a Rasta, but these colors still resonate even as Africans. So.
No, that's awesome.
But yeah, that's basically what's up with the label.
With the label.
Yeah.
So where can our viewers find your t-shirts?
So currently,
just to support, you know.
So currently we're just doing word of mouth sales, like through Facebook, Instagram. But we're actually in the process of developing like an online store.
Okay.
The only reason why the online store, so we've got it ready to go, but the only reason why it's not up yet because we don't have any stock. So at the moment we print to order.
Okay.
And it'll be quite tricky if you've got no, it'll be quite tricky to do a print to order kind of situation on an online store.
On an online store, yeah.
So yeah, watch this space. We're gonna be building the inventory, and the online shop will be up, and everyone can get a T-shirt.
Everyone will have access to it all.
In the meantime,
yeah.
you can go to people can go to the Shottaz page on Facebook,
and we'll link everything down in the description bar.
The link in the description.
Yeah.
So if they go to the Shottaz Facebook page, drop us a message. All we need is. So we've got the plain tee, and we've got another one called the dancehall tee, which has got some cool print and then the Shottaz logo. So you just tell us what style you want, the size and color requirements, and
very cool.
And in no time you'll have your product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes think in life, I really think in life that you come to a point in your life where you do a full circle, right? And when you try to see your path in life or your destiny, you always obviously choose a certain way. And being like we were talking about this earlier on, being from an African background, you are always taught, go to school, stay in school, you have to get a good job, after you graduate from uni. But were there signs when you were younger that this is the path that you would pursue? Yes,
there were signs. So, like I said, I grew up next to a guy who had a sound system. And back when we were kids, like me and 3 of my friends, we wanted to be bad boy.
Yeah.
So one of my friends was Puff. He used to always rap the Puff lines. One of my friends was Mace. I was Biggie.
You're Biggie.
Surprise, surprise. I'm not complaining because Biggie was the dopest.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so the guy that used to run the sound system would make us rap our lines. Like when he was testing his sound, before gigs and stuff.
Yes.
So there was that. But I was also told by some family members that I used to like entertaining guests.
Entertaining guests when you were younger?
As a kid, yeah. So apparently I used to be that kid that just didn't care, if you gave me the platform. I don't remember this, by the way. I was told when I was an adult that I would be the guy that would go
stand
and just
there, entertain people.
And entertain the guests,
What a blast that might have been for them.
For them, they would have something to talk about on the drive home,
Yeah.
It's like, did you see that kid? Yeah, so that's apparently when I was a kid that used to be my thing. So I've always had a thing for entertaining.
Yeah.
Even when I was at high school and stuff, I used to like entering talent shows and just being in front of an audience.
Yeah.
So ever since I was a kid, I always knew.
Yeah.
I guess I always knew
that you'll be where you're right now.
I always knew that I was going to try at some point.
Try it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So what would your advice be? Because obviously from an outsider, you may not say this for yourself, but from an outside perspective, I think you've gained some level of success in what you're doing. You obviously started in a group that was successful, Header Days, and now these 2 of you, and even as an individual artist yourself, you've created some awesome music, and your most recent video is very successful. It is lit. It is so lit, and honestly, you've been a success. And so, what do you think, from your perspective, if, for instance, there's some rapper out there, young teenage rapper who wants to make it, and obviously cracking the industry is hard, what would your advice be to them?
Okay, so don't be afraid to fail is the first one. one thing that I know that has got me to this stage is I've failed a lot. I have fallen so many times I've lost count. But that's part of the process. That's how you grow.
And no one remembers the failures.
No one remembers the failures.
Right?
Well, some people do, but
well, those are the haters.
the haters.
The haters do.
The haters remember, and they're just waiting for you to be successful. Remember when you failed. Yeah. But yeah, don't be afraid to fail. In that same vein, don't be afraid to try new things. Another thing that I've learned along the way is sometimes I've got ideas that are quite unique. And a few times I've doubted those ideas because they're not conventional.
They don't fit in with what's happening.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to try new things. You know, like I wouldn't, you know, I was gonna say be true to yourself, but you know, that's easily said. That's one of those things, and I don't know many young artists that will initially take that path. You know, because always when you're trying to crack, be it whatever market, you're always trying to go with you're always trying to walk down the beaten path, even if it's not what's natural to you.
Absolutely,
So yeah, be true to yourself. I mean, I guess
to an extent, obviously.
I guess it's something that's important because, like, and make sure that you always stay true to your identity. Because I've you know, having been making music seriously at a semi-pro level for like coming up to 10 years now, I've seen a lot of artists fall to the wayside because they've tried to adopt an identity that's not them, and you lose yourself.
Absolutely.
You lose yourself.
Absolutely.
And the last thing I'll tell any upcoming artist is to always work. Always work. Don't be lazy.
Put in the hours,
Put in the time. Rome was not built in a day.
Definitely.
But then again, Rome was not built by a bunch of cross-armed Romans, you know,
just waiting on the sidelines.
Just waiting for things to happen. You know, they actually had to do the work.
You created for yourself, absolutely.
Yeah, so just work hard, don't be lazy, don't take shortcuts. It's easy. Like a lot of the times people try to take shortcuts, but trust me, the best way to do it is to do it the right way.
And you get what you put in, really.
Exactly. That's so right. That's so right. Like people don't realize it. People don't realize how what you get out is a reflection of what you
put in. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on, and I will send a link through to some of your music. But what's your social media links? Would you like to? So
social media, you can find me on Twitter at Max-Shotta MC. Links will be down. So it's MAXSHOTTAZ MC. No underscore, nothing, just one mess of a word. So that's the same for Instagram at Max-Shotta MC. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/ShottazYoung. So it's backwards. YouTube, I don't know the YouTube link by heart, but it'll be down. It's Shottaz on YouTube. I think we're the only Shottaz channel, last time I checked.
Awesome.
Unless someone came through.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for popping in. So thank you guys for watching. You heard it here. Max-Shotta. Have an awesome afternoon.
The maker at least I love something concrete. Even though things get tough, no, they might get nice again. In the depths of the dark.